I for some reason decided to kick it off with an icebreaker of like, so is this going to be a what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas scenario?
Oh, oh, that's bold.
It was.
I'm Emily Calloway, and this is Kismet. Kismet is a podcast featuring your true love stories. Today, I'm speaking with Elizabeth and Matthew, who are sharing their story of how they met on the monorail in Las Vegas. What happens in Vegas? Sometimes maybe the start to the rest of your life. Hello, Elizabeth and Matthew. Welcome to Kismet. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
We're excited.
Yeah. So we met in December at a random ugly sweater call on the Beltline in Atlanta. None of the three of us were participating in this ugly sweater crawl. Somehow we ended up crashing like this Santa party where everyone was participating in the festivities. But we were sort of drawn to each other and loved talking to you guys. And then you told me your story, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta have you on the podcast. So here we are. I'm so glad that you were into the idea of joining me.
Absolutely.
Of course.
We're excited.
Yeah. We love talking about our story.
Well, to get started today, I'd love to just talk to each of you separately, talk to you about like your background, who you are, what your interests are, just a little bit of sort of a high level overview of who you each are as people.
You want to kick us off?
Sure. Well, I'm from Southern California. I was born in Orange County, but I have lived all over California, northern, southern, born and raised. My family, my mom's still out there, so I go back there all the time. But I am a wedding photographer. I started doing photography when I was in high school, just for fun. I never thought it would be a career path for me, but here we are, which is amazing. I am a dog mom. I have 2 dogs, and they've been my babies for like the past 11 years. I'm a huge Disney fan, Star Wars fan.
Yep.
I have lots of Star Wars tattoos. And
Like 4 or 5?
yeah. And I am a big like emo alternative girl. That's my jam.
Being a fan of Disney and being from Southern California, that must have been just sort of a dream growing up.
Oh yeah, like I had a pass up until like 2 years ago, but my whole life, like I was like at Disneyland all the time. I would just go by myself as like an adult, just to go walk around. Like it's just my happy place.
Awesome. Okay, so Matthew, what about yourself?
I am born and raised in Richmond, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
I am a wedding DJ now, but I kind of got my start because I was that kid in high school that made big CDs, mostly for girls. I'll be honest. Right out of high school, I started, DJing, mostly in bars and college parties. I had a real niche with sorority formals.
Mm-hmm.
And I also started working for an event production company, whom I'm actually still very good friends with. But I did that for like 10 years and started realizing that as I got into weddings, that's where I wanted to go. So that's why I'm now a wedding DJ, and that's my focus. But like in my free time, I'm definitely, I've been slacking lately, but I used to be a pretty avid runner. Mm-hmm. I've run, 6 half marathons.
Wow.
Gonna try to do another one this year because it's been a while. I love hiking. We do have 2 dogs, but we had a third who was mine, who unfortunately passed away about a little over a year ago. But we'll eventually maybe get another one. But hiking, adventures is kind of my jam. Travel. I've been all over the country. I've been to Europe twice. We'll potentially go at some
one
point.
day.
But yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
What what are your genres that you play most in terms of DJing? Like, do you have specific songs that are your go-to or sort of genres of music?
Yes. So a lot of what has drawn me to Atlanta, which is where we met and where her and I lived for 2 years, is Atlanta rap.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
2000s bangers are kind of my specialty, if you will,
Yeah.
and not just rap.
Now, I'm
But
going to take it
like
way back. Were you familiar with Kilo Ali?
No.
Okay. Well, if anyone has young children listening, do not have them listen to Kilo Ali. But
Okay.
that was like when I was in high school, that was the Atlanta artist that we all listened to. He's very
Got it.
dirty, but it
Awesome.
was
I love
pretty
it.
fun. Yeah. But
Yeah,
Atlanta's
no,
got some great
I'm
artists.
definitely a huge Ludacris fan.
Yeah.
I like T.I., Outkast, Yin Yang Twins,
Yeah.
which all those artists kind of got their start when I was in high school. And so those mixed CDs I mentioned had a lot of that on it.
Yeah, I love it. Outkast is one of my favorite performers of all time. So let's get into the good stuff. So you lived across the country. So we're gonna still keep this separate for a little bit before your inevitable meeting. But talk to me about sort of the lead up in terms of where you were mind space with dating at that time. If you were on any apps, if you were looking for a relationship, if you were not looking for a relationship, if you had bad experiences and were like, I'm never dating again, sort of what your situation was. And that will take us to your meeting.
I can go first. I was not looking for a relationship. I had actually, about a year prior, ended an engagement, which, just it was a pandemic relationship that was a friend, several years before that, we just finally realized this was not, a good fit anymore. I think it was more of a comforting each other through the pandemic kind of thing. But, we broke up and went our separate ways. And at that point that I met Elizabeth, I definitely was not looking for a relationship. I was just kind of keeping my head down and focused on my business.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how about you, Elizabeth?
Well, I had been in a relationship for about a year and a half ish or so, and it was definitely going to the end of that relationship when I met Matthew, and I was definitely not looking for anything at that point. I was like, I am ending this relationship. I just want to focus on myself. So I was definitely not looking for the love of my life at that moment in time.
So, question for both of you, and this may be different answers for both, and that's totally fine. So, were you serial monogamous, or were you someone that, that had maybe had a couple of serious relationships in your past, but generally speaking, were comfortable being single?
I was definitely a serial monogamist. I mean, I I definitely have had, some situations in my 20s where I was not aware that this was a one night stand. And girls would ghost me afterwards.
As we say in the South, bless your heart.
Bless my heart, yes. And because I definitely was. Don't get me wrong. There was a handful of times in my younger 20s that, I was kind of in my younger 20s.
Yeah.
But for the most part of my adult life, I've always, had the mindset of, I'm looking for the person that I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with.
Yeah.
But, not at the time that I met
Not at that time. Yeah. Fair enough.
I feel like most of the time I was in relationships. Kind of, I'd go through really since like college. I'd be in a year-long relationship, and then I'd break up, and I'll just be honest. I'd have my little like whore phase of like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
out of a relationship, I'm single for a little while. And then I'd find another one, and then I'd be in a longer relationship again. And then, so but I was always looking for like love. Like I always wanted to find my life partner. So I always hoped the relationships would work out. But being in several, longer relationships really helped me figure out what I was looking for, which I
Yeah.
appreciate
I,
now.
I think all previous relationships kind of help you
What do I not
understand
want?
what do I not want and what do I want
Yeah.
in
Absolutely.
an actual long-term
Yeah.
relationship, marriage, anything of that sort. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take me through how you guys met, the lead up. So I'd love to just kind of hear the beginning of the story from each of your point of view. And then if you want to sort of weave it in together, however you'd like to tell it, how you usually tell it to folks, I'd love to just hear about it.
I mean, we obviously are both wedding professionals.
Yeah.
And we both were going to a wedding industry conference in Las Vegas, and we just so happened to meet on the first day of this wedding industry conference on the Las Vegas monorail. We were both coming from a like associated, not associated, like networking event. Like they had swag bags, so like I saw her and our friend on the monorail, and I was like, "Oh, y'all got the swag bags? Were y'all at that event?" And that's kind of just how the conversation started. And I was asking folks to scan my QR code, just to like network, So it definitely started out more professional
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
than
let's
anything.
connect.
And then she slid in my DMs.
So this was the first like industry conference I'd ever attended, because I was doing wedding photography for several years, but I never thought about like networking or conferences or anything. And my best friend Ryan, who's a wedding planner, she's like, you should totally go to this with me. So I was like, I last minute went. Like I bought a ticket like only a month prior, maybe, and I was like, I'm gonna go to this. And so and I'm very glad I did. But we were leaving, that networking event, and Matthew's so outgoing, so he of course started talking to us. And when we scanned the QR code, I sent him a ghost emoji.
Yeah, I was asking everyone to send me an emoji. Because it's like just a short, easy thing to do.
Yeah, he's like, send your favorite emoji. And I was
like, this girl's gonna ghost me.
Well, in my defense, it was like right after Halloween. So it was like in my favorites. I love Halloween. I'm like that emo goth kind of girl. And so I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, ghost, like that's my favorite. And later on, and he's like, I thought you were like ghosting me or something. And I was like, no, I just like Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, she did message me like an hour later.
Yeah. We basically we met for maybe 2 minutes on that monorail. And that was it. Like it was a 2-minute interaction. And I was like, I got back to my hotel, and I was staying somewhere else from my friends. So I was just by myself, and I was like, okay, well, it's Vegas. Like it's still kind of early. Like I'll get a bite to eat. Maybe I'll go gamble, get a drink or something. And I don't know why, but I messaged him. I was like, what are you doing the rest of the night? And he's like, I don't really have plans. And I was like, well, if you want, I'm going to grab some food and maybe gamble if you want to join me. And he's like, okay. And I was like, holy shit. He said yes. I was shocked.
Which, in hindsight, after knowing Elizabeth and, obviously being married to her now, I know for a fact that she had already put on her PJs, taken all her makeup off, and like gotten ready to just be in chill mode.
Comfortable.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, once you're in that mode, like going through it, like putting the clothes back on, doing the hair, doing the makeup, like it's a process. It is. And because then you're also like, well, if this doesn't work out, then I just wasted all this makeup and all this time and everything.
And then
so
also part of me was like, I wasn't necessarily inviting him to like in hopes that it was gonna like even turn into something. It was more of like I just wanted to hang out with someone and do something.
We're in Vegas. Let's be friends.
network.
Yeah,
exactly.
So like, I don't know why I got so nervous, and I was like, I gotta look cute. Like I don't know why I was like panicking.
But you looked real cute.
What were you wearing?
Honestly, I don't even remember what I was wearing.
He remembers.
Do you remember?
Probably something black.
Oh, that's but yeah, like he's like, yeah, I'll come on over, and I got so nervous, and so I was like, okay, and then the whole time before he came, I was like, what did I just do? Like I had just invited this person I don't even know, like that I met for like 2 seconds to just come hang out with me. Like I got all nervous because I get really nervous just in general, and so but. The moment you came to the hotel and I was at the like sitting at the bar and the conversation just immediately flowed.
Well, I for some reason decided to kick it off with an icebreaker of like, so is this going to be a what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas scenario?
That's bold.
It was. But it wasn't necessarily that I did it more so for the laugh, which she did. She laughed.
Yeah.
But we just hung out at the bar for a little while. Then we went and gambled. And then this one broke a wine glass, which it like cut clean at the stem. No wine spilled. And she just took the glass and took a sip. And I was just like, I kind of want to make out with your personality right now.
That is pretty badass, I have to say. Like
I was like, I'm not gonna waste this wine, and so I just drank out of the broken glass, and he was like, "This girl."
Yeah. To be fair, this wasn't like a once in a situation. She's broken a lot of wine glasses.
Yeah.
Before.
But it's also, the thing is how you respond in those situations is like really telling, because there are people that be like very embarrassed and just, kind of lose themselves, or others that I'm probably would make a big fuss with the bartender or whatever. And you're just like, whatever. Like, I'm going to enjoy this wine.
Honestly, I was so excited because I didn't spill the wine. I was like, it's still here. Like, it's okay. Like, everything's fine.
Also, we were, at this point, we were at the little, like, computerized crap tables.
Yeah.
And I think we were up. We were up like $300.
Yeah.
And this was my first time ever playing craps. So I was like, this is awesome. We're actually doing well.
Yeah, I was teaching him how to play. And I was like, wow, you're actually like winning. Like you keep playing. I'm just going to like watch you and help you. Like,
So the mood was already exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But that was probably 11 o'clock at night. And we stayed up. And then we played craps for a little while. And then we went to like another bar.
In the hotel,
that had like a little lounge area, and we just stayed there talking on the couch till 6 a.m.
in the morning.
Wow. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, that in Vegas, to be fair, with the way that they do the lights and stuff, it always feels like it's the middle of the day, but that is, even with that, like that is a long time to spend with somebody that you've just met, and especially that you're there for this convention to network and, go to events the next day and stuff. So how did that first day end? Did you guys end up with a smooch or?
Oh yeah. Yes. The moment he said, I want to make out with your personality when I broke the wine glass was like when we first kissed in that moment.
That happens. Yeah. Right there at the craps tables.
Yep. So there was definitely kissing that first night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, we definitely, obviously, this was the first day of the conference.
Yeah.
So there was still 2 whole days afterwards that,
Yeah.
well, we hung out like the entire time.
Yeah.
If we weren't in individual sessions that didn't make sense for, like, because there's, category specific stuff,
Right.
Yeah.
like DJ,
Which
photographer.
that next day, the conference started at 9 a.m. and he goes, I'll see you at 9. And I said, no, I will see you at like noon. I'm not, I need to sleep. Like,
Yeah.
I will not
And,
function today.
I'm sober, and I've been sober for almost 4 years, and it's a little easier for me to work on no sleep.
Yeah. I can
very
definitely
logical.
understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your friend that was the one that encouraged you to go to this convention, Ryan, I think you said her name was she around for this convention? Did she meet him early on, or was this sort of, was she present for this?
Yes. So it's funny you bring that up. So Ryan was there when we met on the monorail. So like she saw, like she knew who he was because she also like exchanged Instagrams and stuff, right? But like again, I went back to my hotel, so she had no idea that we hung out that night.
That you were up to no good.
I know. And the next
All
day,
3 of us were at different hotels.
yeah, we were all at different hotels.
Wow.
And then the next day, she's like texting me in the morning, like, "Hey, are you here yet?" At like 9. And I was asleep. And I texted her, I think, briefly, and I was like, "I'm not going to make it until like noon. I'll see you at like lunchtime." And she's like, "Okay." And I show up, and he's texting me at the same time, like, "What time are you going to get over here?" So then when I show up, I find her, and then Matthew just shows up, and she's like, "Oh, like we met you yesterday." And I was like, "Yeah, we ended up hanging out a little bit last night." And she was like, "Oh." And I had told Matthew that I didn't necessarily want Ryan to know that we were like really hanging out because of that relationship that was ending and everything. So I was like, "Can we just like keep this like the real part between us for a little while?" But she was with us the entire conference, like all of the events in the evening, like Matthew tagged along with me and Ryan. So like she really did get to know him, but we weren't like kissing in front of her, but we were definitely flirty to the point where when we got home from the conference, I asked her to get coffee with me. I was like, "I have something I need to tell you." And she goes, "Is it about Bowtie Man?" I was like, "Yes." And she's like, "I knew the whole time. You guys were not that secretive. Like, it was pretty obvious." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So she witnessed everything.
Yeah. Can I just say how, Kismet, honestly, it is that you guys both are in the wedding industry and that your love story begins like at a wedding conference.
Yeah.
That's how you meet. Like, if you ever write a book, that's a great way to start it.
Right?
From opposite sides of the country, because I was in Atlanta at the time. She was in Southern California at the time, and
Yeah.
I mean, and so random, like the Las Vegas monorail.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For 2 minutes.
Exactly.
Like, that's your window.
So what was, first impressions like on the monorail? Obviously, like neither one of you were looking for anything or anything like that. And you said, Elizabeth, that you were like a little bit nervous when he said yes to hanging out. So what was sort of like your first impressions when you saw each other on the monorail? And I guess, how did that change over the course of the night?
Yeah, for me, it was I was definitely still more professionally minded.
Yeah.
But I think it started to switch when she asked me if we wanted to hang out, and DM'd me, and then of course when we hung out through the night, that definitely switched from professional to personal.
Yeah. Making out with a personality.
Yeah, I obviously thought he was like cute and he was so outgoing, and that the relationship that I had just been in was someone who was very introverted and quiet, and like that was one of my things that I was like, I need someone that's more outgoing, or like just like wants to go do things, wants to talk to people, So like the first impression of him, like putting himself out there, talking to us, like really like being energetic and lively, like caught my attention, you know.
I'm not at all energetic.
To the point where he's like complete opposite like side of the spectrum of like he is like very outgoing. But yeah, like that first like his energy just like really caught me, and like I thought you were really cute, and I again I don't know what it was inside me that was like I want to see if he wants to hang out. Like it was just like
it's listening to that gut,
like,
man.
yeah,
It's listening to that gut
exactly.
instinct. But it's interesting that he's the outgoing one, and you're the one that slid into his DMs.
Right. It was very out of character for me. So I was just kind of like, and, you know, maybe it was like the wine that gave me the extra confidence before, you know, that probably could have been part of it, which, you know, obviously was worth it now. But I wanted to talk to you for some reason.
So towards the end of the conference, you have spent this entire conference together, essentially. Where did you leave it at that point? Was this what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? Obviously, it became more than that. But like, was that sort of the initial, like, okay, we had a great time, and then you kept, I don't know, being drawn back together? Or was there like an intention when you left? They're like, oh, this is something real that we need to pursue?
Well, that last night, he was supposed to fly out at like 11 p.m.
Take a red eye back to Atlanta.
And we like went to a show and we went to dinner. And like the closer that time got, I was looking at him. I was like, maybe we can like push your flight to tomorrow morning. Like, do you think we could look at that? And
which it was only like $100.
Yeah.
So
we were, because
I flew out at 6 a.m.
I didn't want him to leave, and he didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, maybe we could push it to like the morning. And so we ended up switching his flight like last minute to like leave just a little later so we could have a little more time together. And I like took him to the airport, and I was just like crying because I was like, what just happened this week? Yeah. And I was like, I don't want you to leave. Like, I don't want to go back home. Like, I don't know. Like, what are we going to do?
I think that's kind of when we started to realize that this wasn't just what happens in Vegas, right? Like,
yeah.
I think, you know, I got back to Atlanta. She got back to California. And, I mean, I can't remember who called who first, but that week afterwards, like, we talked on the phone for like, I shit you not, 10 to 14 hours a day.
Wow.
Wow. And which the following week, I had another DJ conference.
Yeah.
So I don't even know where I slept.
Yeah, we talked on the phone. We would video call for like 12 hours a day. And we... like literally that week I got back, I was like, all right, when can I go to Atlanta to visit him? So I booked a flight for like 3 weeks later. I was like, I'm going to come see you in 3 weeks. Like, I want to see Georgia. I've never been. And
wasn't it like a week after we met that we were like, okay, you're my girlfriend.
Yeah. He's like, well, I wanted to wait to ask you to be my girlfriend when you came to visit, but I don't want to wait. So, like, you know, we basically were in a relationship, like
long distance
after we met.
Yeah.
Long distance, no idea what we were gonna do. We were just like, we know we don't want to be not with each other, so like, let's figure this out. And we really got to know each other though. Being on the phone for 12 hours a day, I mean, you really get. And we were very unfiltered, and we just were like, let's get it all out. Like, let's talk about all of the good, the bad, the ugly. Like, we just want to know everything.
Here are my red flags.
Yeah. And we both were just like, okay, like, you know. And then I visited him. And when I left that trip, I was like, all right, I'm going to move to Atlanta. And I was in Atlanta by January. At that point.
And when did you meet? What month did you meet?
November.
Wow. So super quick. 2 months.
24, she was moving to Atlanta.
Yeah. We met November, and I was living in Atlanta by like the first week of January at that point.
Well, welcome to the cold.
Yeah, it was freezing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's incredible. So I wanted to touch on a couple points. So like several of the other guests that I have talked to have also mentioned about sharing the red flags first and sharing being completely transparent. Like, this is who I am. Like, I'm not hiding anything in this relationship. This is, what to expect from me, etc. So I think that's really, I don't know. I think it's really an interesting trend that I'm seeing of these successful couples or folks that just lead with sort of transparency.
Yeah. And I think that is one thing that even in past relationships that I've had, we never did that before, right? Like we weren't, you learn the red flags like a year in, right?
Yeah, we didn't hide anything.
Yeah, we were very honest.
Very upfront about everything. Like we joke about how we knew each other's body count within a week.
Yeah.
I think we told each other.
We asked it in Vegas. It was like,
what ifs?
So funny.
Cool. You have a history before me. Cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like we
don't care.
Yeah, we just
that's the past.
Exactly. At that point, we were so serious about this relationship of if I'm going to move across the country, let's make sure this is going to work for us. Like, let's make sure that we really get to know each other and I'm not being completely insane moving across the country for someone I just met,
Yeah, and I mean, I did say, if you move across the country, I didn't think that this was entirely true. I don't know what the word is, but I was jokingly if you move across the country, I'll put a ring on it, right?
Wow, yeah.
And sure enough, she did. Because I wasn't trying to actually put pressure on it, right? I'm not saying, this is only going to happen if you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Which he never once even really asked me to move because he's like, I can't ask that of you.
Right.
To uproot your whole life. If you want to, of course I want you to be here, but I'm not going to ask you to move here. And I was already I'm moving. It's done.
Yeah, and I feel like you made that decision while you visited me in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, we had some really cool experiences when she came to visit. I'm a married Bonvoy person, so I was like, let's, give her an Atlanta experience where, I booked us a hotel room in downtown Atlanta, which the first night I got kind of a regular room, but I was offered an upgrade the next night, and it was the presidential suite.
Wow.
We had 4 or 5 rooms of a hotel room.
Yeah.
Baller.
And we did that for 2 nights, and then we went camping at Stone Mountain.
In the cold months. That's
right.
November.
We had so when we met, Matthew was actually living on a converted school bus.
I was living and traveling on a converted school bus, a schoolie,
okay.
if you will.
Schoolie.
Wow.
And
one of my red flags, if you will.
Yeah.
The best part was when he told me about the bus and that he lived on it when we were in Vegas. He told me about it, and I loved it. I was like, that is the coolest thing I've ever heard. I've always wanted to do the schoolie life for a while. I love that. And he's like, most girls are like, you live on a bus,
right.
And I was so about it. But yeah, we took the bus to the Stone Mountain, and that was so much fun.
We did so much traveling in the bus that first couple months, but by April we were I had been doing it for 3 years, and I was already kind of I'm kind of done with this. And so we eventually got a place in Atlanta and got a house. And but we did a lot. I mean, we went down to Key West, and we pit stopped in Tampa and Miami. Then we went to another wedding industry conference in Central Florida, and then we pit stopped in Savannah. And
We did some good stuff with the bus.
we did.
I mean, it sounds like your whole relationship was at the beginning was like kind of trial by fire, like thrown into it, like this, big romance in Las Vegas, this quick move to Georgia. And then like, you're not just moving across the country for someone that, you've only known for a short period of time. You're also living in a school bus and traveling with him, which they say the first thing that you should do when you're serious about someone is take a trip, because you don't know how people are going to respond under stress. Like, if they're going to be, if there's somebody that wants to go out and do things all the time and you need a lot more time to, relax, and like you're just sort of the travel styles that can bring out different personality traits and stuff. So I think that's really cool that you did all of that so quickly. I'm sure it really sort of reinforced that you were a good fit for each other.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
schoolie life is not for the faint of heart.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and during those few months we had some weird problems with the bus, and so
Yeah.
that was really stressful.
Yeah.
So it was a very interesting experience at times, but we handled it all well. We worked through all of the hard stuff, and again, schoolie life isn't always the most glamorous. So that was interesting as well, and it's very small quarters, so you're like,
I mean, it's 250 square feet.
It was like us and the 3 dogs in this bus.
Wow.
For a few months. So it was very different, but I think I loved it, but I'm glad when we stopped. It was like the right time to stop and actually have stability.
Yeah, but I mean that like for first 6 months of 2024 was just nonstop go, 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 go. Like, so she came in January, and I think we stayed in a residence inn for like 2 months. Then we went to Hawaii for a wedding that she had booked before we met.
Yeah, I was like, I have a wedding in Hawaii in like March. Do you want to go to Hawaii?
Yeah, and then we did that. Which we drove to California and then drove back to Atlanta, not with the bus, but and then we did that trip to Florida, to Key West and back. Stopped in Savannah, and then by April we were like, all right, let's start looking for a place to
settle,
have a little more stability.
Yeah.
And but. So we actually drove the bus up to Richmond, where I'm from, and I had a storage unit here, which that bus is still parked at that storage unit right now.
Oh,
if anybody wants to buy it, let us know.
It's for sale.
It's for sale. And then she had like a bunch of weddings out in California for like a whole month. So we drove across the country again. And so that first 6 months was just packed with adventure. I mean, we didn't get a house until the end of July.
Yeah.
If you're going to have a fun little trial and error of life.
Yeah.
We sure did.
So I'm thinking about the logistics also of all of this. So as I mentioned to you guys that one of my very close friends is a wedding planner. And I think you met her. But I know that she books out like way in advance, like with the planning and stuff. And so y'all met in November. How did you manage the differing weddings and the locations and all of that sort of stuff? Like, had you already had a lot on the books? Was that a challenge to kind of figure out how you were going to do it all, so to speak?
Certainly for you.
For me, yes. So the nature of our businesses we book so far out, and when we met and I decided to move, I think I had like 20, 25 weddings in California that year.
Wow.
So, or in general. And I was like, well, I'll just commute to California. It's fine. Like, no big deal. And a lot of them we drove, but a lot of them I also would just fly out and just go do them myself and then fly back. So that was a very interesting
I think there was a
change.
handful of times too that like we drove out there and then I flew back.
Yeah, like so
Well,
I
she
could have
stayed.
the car for a month and then I'd stay and then
Yeah.
he'd fly back and
Because I had still lots, of weddings in Georgia and Virginia because I had just come from Virginia.
a lot of travel and a lot of logistics, and we had 3 dogs, so that was also a factor as well because it'd be like I am a control freak and I love my dogs so much that I don't really trust people with them. So I was like, well, we have to take the dogs with me. So that's why we would drive so much. So like
That makes
I would have all
sense.
the
Yeah.
dogs and then he would like have weddings or different things. And so it was a crazy first year.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have our first wedding together until October 24. So 11 months after we met.
Do you try to book weddings together, or is it still mostly separate?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our long-term goal would to be working together always, but
Yeah.
right now we'll still take weddings separately.
Yeah, we're not exclusive.
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely, when we got engaged, we definitely made a conscious effort to rebrand our businesses so that when we booked or wanted to book couples together, it made our brands made more sense together.
Awesome. Okay, so engagement. So when did that happen? He followed through on the promise to put a ring on it.
He did.
So what was that story?
Let's do the real one.
Okay.
Because we have kind of a secret that we haven't really told a lot of people because like most people think we got engaged like I don't know
August or September
of 24. But the real story is, so this is an exclusive, if you will.
Oh, okay.
So she came to Atlanta that 1 month after, right? And she basically, said that she was gonna move to the East Coast. And so I think 3 weeks later, I flew to California.
Mm-hmm.
And then we drove up to LA. We were both sick.
Yeah, we were both really sick.
And I had already gotten a ring.
Yeah.
And
wow.
we were just talking about forever. And like it was just the most casual thing, but like, I don't know, it was kind of cute, right?
Yeah.
And we were both just, laying in bed talking. And I got out of bed for a second to get the ring. And she was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm just like, "Let's keep talking." And I'm like hiding the ring underneath the pillow. And I was like, "Well, do you want forever to start now?"
I was like, "What?"
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was shocked because again, this was December and we met in November. And I didn't think he was serious about like putting a ring on my finger if I move, like
Yeah.
it was like kind of a joke. And then he pulled out the ring and I was like, what? I mean, we already knew that that's where our relationship was headed just based off of everything.
Sure.
But I was like shocked that you like followed through on your promise. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But we didn't tell anybody about that.
Yep.
Because we didn't want everyone to think we were absolutely insane. So we kept that on the down low until September.
I don't think you started wearing the ring in public until like July.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful though. Like so many people are out there just so scared. They're living their lives in fear of intimacy, of taking risks, of being vulnerable, of really having that deeper connection with someone else. And like the fact that, you guys both equally were like, yeah, we're in it. Like I'm moving cross country. I'm buying a ring. Like I recognize my person in you and I don't care what anyone else thinks. And I'm willing to risk it all for you for this. I think that's beautiful. And I think we can all learn from that. Like, just listening to your heart and your gut. And when it's right, it's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, for me, I think I at a very early on stage of our relationship realized that Elizabeth's strengths were my weaknesses and my strengths were her weaknesses. So it's just like we had this kind of perfect yin and yang
Yeah.
scenario. And, we love each other a lot. And it didn't make sense to not figure it out, which just so happens to be our slogan and motto in life is we'll figure it out.
I love it. I love a couple with a slogan. That's awesome.
We say it often, so it's become a thing.
At least several times a week.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
'Cause we've been really through a lot since the beginning of our relationship, and
It's been a
up
roller
and
coaster.
downs. And we were reflecting on that recently, actually. Like, we were like, we've been through a lot in the first 2 years of our relationship that, like, I feel like a lot of couples don't get through easily, right? And we always just figure it out together.
Were these internal issues or were these like external, like family things or?
I would say both.
Both. Definitely lots of external stuff. I mean, I had just moved to Atlanta when we met.
Yeah.
And then her moving to Atlanta. And so we definitely had a roller coaster with our businesses. There was definitely some financial hardship. But, we figured it all out. And we did also have some death in the family. And that was hard to figure out.
Yeah.
And, navigate that. That actually, my stepmom passed away last year.
I'm so
and
sorry.
That kind of contributed to our decision to move back to Richmond.
Yeah.
Which is where we are now. And but
and my aunt passed away, and then our dog passed away. Like we've had a lot.
That was all within a 6-month window. Yeah, my dog, Headley, your aunt.
Yeah, it was a lot. But and then financials, and then also navigating running businesses together, and
it's really tough that we're both small business owners.
Yeah,
like I feel like a lot of wedding professionals have a spouse or person, whatever, that is in a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
Whereas they have that stability to fall back on. Whereas we.
Yeah.
And that good health insurance.
Exactly. We don't.
I'm self-employed too, and oh god, that's like the one thing. Like I love working by myself, but man, the health insurance, that part, not fun.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, don't get us wrong. We have those good months where we're like, oh right, things are looking great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's those months that it's like, okay, we got to buckle down.
We're eating ramen noodles this month. No, I'm just kidding.
We've never eaten ramen noodles.
No.
Listen, you guys lived together on a school bus for the first few months of your relationship. So I have faith that you can figure out ramen noodles or whatever else might come across your path.
Yes.
Because that's, I just can't imagine more of a sort of initial trial period than what I said, living in a small confined space, traveling. And then, I do have several friends that have vans that they travel in, and there's always some sort of, something mechanical goes wrong and it needs fixing. So, so I can completely understand how that is. But that is partnership. Life is not always easy. There are going to be financial struggles. There are going to be things that come up, sickness, family issues, friend issues, career hurdles, and then your own personal health issues and mental health issues and things like that. So it's really sort of forging through. And it sounds like just, what you guys have been through the beginning of your relationship up to now, both the adventures and the harder times have really sort of given you that foundation to be able to endure whatever comes your way for the remainder of your lives.
I feel like we have been dealt a lot of curveballs.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the best things, which we kind of like to feel like we're really good at, is when we argue, we're really good at resolving it quickly.
So good. So
yeah.
But it took a little bit of time to get to this point,
Yeah,
but
I'll be honest. I got a temper sometimes, but
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten really good at it. And I want to say eliminating alcohol from my life has certainly helped, and going to therapy has certainly helped. So prioritize your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
But I've definitely, I mean, whenever we have moments where we're like getting a little heated, I'm like, hey, honey, look, I love you. We do this thing where I'm like, give me your pulse.
Oh.
And I'm like, I'm gonna take a minute. I might go for a drive or just go in the other room, whatever. Just like give me some space for a second. Then we always come back and find resolution and like talk
Yeah.
through it and give me your pause and just we always find a way to kind of reconnect and solve
I
whatever issue.
love that. I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that you're in a heated moment and you're able to still reach for her and like, this is my show of faith that I'm in this with you. Like, even though I'm really angry right now, I'm in this
Yeah.
with you. And I'm just gonna take a second, and I think that is like powerful.
Yeah, I think we also sometimes we're not always the best at this, but we always find a way in that we have to recognize that we're not fighting each other. We're fighting the problem
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
That's sometimes hard to grapple with, but I think we, again, find a way.
Yeah.
So early on, we mentioned past relationships being like sort of good sort of guidelines to help you understand what you do and you don't want and sort of improve yourself and make yourself better for the next person or for your person rather. So what have you both done differently in this relationship? Taking those learnings from the past that has made this relationship stand sort of those challenges that you've been faced with.
That's a good question.
What you got?
I don't know. I'm trying to.
I feel like I need some water on this.
Well, I do feel like communication has been a big one for me as far as in past relationships. I wouldn't really share how I felt about a lot of things and I would just kind of keep things to myself. Whereas with Matthew, I will be very honest with him about things.
Yeah, I still struggle with this, and I'm gonna be completely honest. I can be a little self-centered. Right? We're definitely both stubborn.
Yeah.
And the way I'm self-centered is it's more so that I am thinking about both of us, but I don't convey that. Does that make sense? And it does come across as like I'm mostly thinking about myself. And I think in past relationships, I didn't find a way to communicate that. And I feel like I've gotten better with communicating that with Elizabeth. With her, I think that early foundation of like, let's get to know each other very well. Let's put it all out there, I think certainly helped.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also love the self-awareness, I'm a little bit, what did you say? Self-centered. I'm a little bit self-centered. Like I love that self-awareness. A lot of people that are self-centered are not self-aware. So
and that's something that we both, I feel like, are good at is self-awareness. And it's funny because like I've gone to therapy for years. And you've gone to therapy in the past and then started going back. And I feel like me 5 years ago would not be the kind of person that Matthew would want to be with. Like we all have had stuff we need to work on and like we met at the right time because we know ourselves better. Yeah. And we know how to be better with each other.
Right.
Did that make sense?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I definitely struggle with some of the things I'm self-aware about. Like, I asked my therapist, I was like, do I have narcissistic tendencies? And she's like, well, first of all, a narcissist wouldn't ask that question.
all humans have a little bit of narcissism in him. Like it's just kind of, I think, a human trait. So there's obviously a spectrum. Some people are evil and some people, it's a little bit, a little bit more altruistic, but we all have that in us, I do believe.
I think it helps that we both are always trying to work on ourselves as individuals, not just as a couple.
Yeah, I think that's so important. Because I feel like even with some friends, that have had long relationships that didn't work out, it was like the other person was like, well, this is who I am and I'm not going to change for like, not like you need to change for someone, but they didn't want to work on themselves. They didn't care about the things that they could improve for the other person to make the relationship better, But
also finding acceptance in your partner's individuality. Like last year, we would fight about our workout schedules. Like, hey, I want someone to run with me. And I think eventually...
I'm not a runner.
Eventually, we're just like, it's okay that you want to do it your way. And I'm going to do it my way. But we'll find common ground on the things we do want to do. Like
we like to walk together.
We love hiking together with our dogs. And...
I think it is funny
finding a balance.
Yeah, because we were so similar and on the same page with like so many things that like there were little things like that where we were like, well, why don't you want to run? Why won't you run with me? I'm like, my knees hurt. I was a gymnast for 10 years. I can't physically run like that. Like, and it's not fun for me, but I like to go, kickboxing. I like to do yoga, and he doesn't necessarily want to do that.
Those things.
But that's okay. Like, we don't have to do it all together. We don't have to be exactly the same, right? Like, and learning that, like, in the first year was a little challenging. And then now where we're at is like, yeah, you can do that, and I can do this.
We actually do this thing every once in a while. I think we're going to try to do it once a month this year, where because we live together, we work together, we see each other 24/7, whereas like most couples, again, there's someone that maybe has a 9-to-5 job. They're gone for 8 hours a day. We do not have that. So every once in a while, she likes to stay at home, and I'll go check into a hotel. And we'll just have a day apart.
It's our alone day.
Alone days. And some might think that's a little weird, but it makes sense for us because, again, we are together 24/7. Love you, honey. But we need a little time to kind of, do what we do.
Yeah.
After my brothers and I left the home, flew the nest, so to speak, my parents had houses that they would live together 3 to 4 days a week, and the other 3 to 4 days a week live separately. And, they've always been very independent. They married later in life, and, it just worked out for them. Like, so I don't see any problem with that. Like, I think that it's healthy to have space and have your own interests and finding those ways that you can connect and having those interests that are shared, but also having something that you enjoy doing and you enjoy doing with your friends and, or by yourself, that's just for you. I think that's important too. And also, Elizabeth, to what you were saying earlier about your friends that have been with people that have just been super reticent to change and to grow. To me, that's like one of the biggest things for me now as a single person that I'm looking for is somebody that wants to grow for themselves.
Exactly.
That recognizes like, hey, like I want to be a healthier version. I want to be a better version, a smarter version, a kinder version, a more generous version every day. Because how are you going to be as a partner if you can't love yourself enough to like elevate for yourself, So I don't know. I just love the insights you guys have shared. I think these are really just so great.
Yay.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get us wrong. We do have moments where, we're at each other's throats, but For the most part, we work through things.
But that's just being human,
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
humans are stubborn. We have emotions. We're individuals. Like, it's just bound to happen, right?
Yeah.
When you're frustrated, when things are not going right for you in your life, you're having a bad day, someone was rude to you at the grocery store, or you've had something break in your house or something like that, and it's just like one of those days that you're frustrated. It's really just kind of easy to sort of let that frustration out on the person that's closest to you. And in some ways, like, as long as you're aware and are able to sort of work through that, I think that's also, it shows that there's a safe space, that you are okay to be your full self when you're frustrated, when you're not the best version of yourself, that you feel safe to show all the sides. So I think that's like a little bit of fighting is healthy. And it also helps you to understand, like, if there's frustrations and things within the relationship you need to work on, it's sort of it helps you communicate what those are, which
Absolutely.
obviously that's the key to a long relationship. One of the keys is to not let things push things down and pretend like everything's okay, because that builds resentment, that builds, hatred and ugly things down the road. It's being able to talk about the sticky things and say, when you do this, this really upsets me, or, I wish that we could work on this way, or whatever the case may be. I think that's really one of the biggest keys to lasting relationships. So.
Yeah, I think Elizabeth and I can both agree that the most important part or aspect of a relationship is communication.
Yeah.
I mean, trust is up there, obviously, but communication, I think if you can talk through everything, if you don't, put things on the back burner and, say, we'll talk about this later, which, we have that, but our later is a lot shorter term than, let's talk about this months from now.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's, it might be hours or a couple of days from now.
Yeah.
And we try to do like, monthly check-ins and things like that, and which I know we need to get back to.
I was like, we've been bad about that. The holidays were hard,
Yeah.
But that's a goal for the year, is to do our check-ins more often.
Yeah. I think we definitely have goals to kind of always evolve our relationship in a way that we're just getting better at it, right?
Yeah.
Like it does take work.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love that. I love the concept of monthly check-ins. There was a podcast I listened to where I can't remember who it was, but they were talking about like how every year they're like, okay, like, are we going to do this for another year? Like, where are you at? Where am I at? Like, how are we, are we going to continue this marriage for another year? And what are your feelings on this? And I mean, I thought that was insightful. It's like not taking the relationship for granted. It's always working on it and making sure everyone's needs are being met. So, and I just have to say also, like, I just want to say that, like, I think the way that you guys met, like, I think there's something to be said for meeting on vacation or on a trip or, at like this, convention kind of situation, because I think, at least in my experience, people feel freer to risk in those situations than they would necessarily feel if they're living their day-to-day life in their city. It's like you can have these big experiences, show who you are, and then if it all just kind of flames out or you get ghosted, you can go back to living your own life at home, Right. But yeah. But I think, my first real love I met in Mexico when I was 18. And, we had this like crazy 3-day romance or whatever. And it ended up being a thing that lasted for years afterwards. But that initial connection, I really think a lot of it's just because you're freer to be yourself. And I've had great friendships as well that I have developed from these travels and stuff like that. So I think that, not just the way you met, but then also taking that risk afterwards and saying like, hey, let's go on this ride together, baby. See,
Let's do
see
it.
where it takes us. I think see
do it.
where it takes us. I think that's just it's awesome.
Yeah.
To my listeners out there, I know some of y'all are probably in situationships on 5-6 months in. Listen to these two. Like, if they want to, they will. So
exactly.
if you're sitting there
Exactly.
thinking like, man, I've been with somebody that won't commit after 5 months.
Take a
This
chance.
guy put a ring on a girl's finger in 2 months. So yeah.
Yep. I
Exactly.
know. We're crazy. But it's true.
What did your families think of this whirlwind relationship?
Ooh.
Well, I would say, I mean, I think that like my family was like, you're moving across the country for someone you just met. Like, are you crazy? But I am kind of just like a crazy person that way. So like, it wasn't like a full surprise, like that I would do something like that. But they were like, oh, okay. And Matthew's family was like
Immediately loved her.
like great about it.
Aww.
But I feel like, because he didn't move or anything, so it wasn't like a lot changed for him, right? I just like came there. So like me uprooting my whole life, like my family was like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, they were very just being parents, right? Like, it's not like it was anything negative. They were just like, okay, if this is what you want to do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really thankful that Headley got to meet you.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
Before she passed. And I mean, because she loved you.
Mm-hmm.
She really did. So we eloped in Vegas a year after we met. During the same
Amazing.
conference.
Yeah.
We
didn't even talk about that.
And we didn't. But, and a lot of that reason was because my stepmom couldn't travel. And so I'm glad that you got to come to Richmond, meet her and my family. And, she's just got that personality that just is just, how can you not love her?
Yeah, absolutely. So. I think it's so funny, though, that you guys are wedding professionals and then you eloped. You didn't even have a big wedding ceremony.
Well, it's funny because, I mean, we know how expensive weddings are. And so that was part of it, mostly because we knew we wanted to elope and like could just be married together and everything. Obviously, our whole relationship went very fast. So we didn't want to plan a wedding 2 years later and, save all the money. But another reason was we eloped because we just didn't want our families to have to travel and like, it would have been harder to coordinate that with everybody. So instead we just were like, let's just do it. Just us. Let's just, and my best friend, Ryan, who was there when we met, was our officiant.
Yeah. Amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, so in parting words, what is some advice that you guys would give to singles that are out there that have not met their person yet?
Ooh, I don't know. I was going to
slide in the DMs. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I was going to kind of say it along the same lines, like take a chance. I do believe that some of the best relationships, obviously, being wedding professionals, we hear a lot of stories, and I feel like some of the best ones, the most infectious couples that we met when they weren't looking for it, but they took a chance. And if the more transparent you are up front, the more you're going to realize that this could be my person.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. Just go for it.
Just go for it.
Don't be scared.
I feel like that's the name of a movie. Just go for it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
we'll figure it out.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, just follow your gut and don't, if you're unsure about a relationship now, then like it's not the right one for you, that too.
Yeah, and it's as you so eloquently put it earlier, it's okay to have a little whore phase from time to time.
Yeah. I mean, you
Get that
learn
out of
things
your
from those
system.
phases too, right? So,
That's it.
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, if you meet somebody during that phase, don't count it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So I would love to tell people how they can connect with you, hire you for their own weddings. Hopefully, we'll have some Kismet love stories that come out of during the course of folks listening to this podcast. I'm hoping that
Sure.
some folks will fall in love and have their own Kismet stories, but. For those folks that are getting engaged and looking at next steps, how can they connect with you and potentially hire you for their weddings?
Sure. Yeah. No, we actually have a joint Instagram, the Davy Duo, and then we have our own individual brands, Completely Celebrated,
And I'm completely captured.
and you can find us on Instagram.
Our websites are all on there too.
Yep.
And we'll travel anywhere. So it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if it's in Virginia or not.
Or Georgia or California.
Yeah.
We go everywhere.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I know we have gone pretty long today, but I just couldn't stop talking to you. Like such good anecdotes and advice and stories that I just wanted to keep on going. So
I love it.
Thank you for your generosity in sharing your story and your openness. And I really, really enjoyed having you on.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for listening to Kismet. Please like and subscribe so we can get these episodes out to all the people that need to believe in love. If you have a Kismet story that you'd like to share, I'd love to hear from you. Please send it to me at kismetstoriespodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, be bold, be kind, and be open to everyday magic. Your person might be just down the street, or they might be at the same Las Vegas wedding convention in the very next seat, or on the monorail.